Would you describe yourself as a white supremacist?
I'm not a white supremacist, no.
But there's really no mistaking his racist message.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
No matter how much he tries to talk around it.
The fact is, only white people can support what we call Western civilization.
Richard Spencer is the self-professed leader of what he calls the alt-right movement. He comes across as polished, and he seems to be trying to dial back the neo-Nazi imagery he's become infamous for, without much success.
So what would that look like if you had your way in the United States? How would you go through a process of removing people who are not white?
They've come here, and therefore they could go home. You can go home again. There are ways of, whether it's a direct payment.
What would you say, though, if Mexican Americans or African Americans said, hey, we're going to pay all the white people to leave and go back to Europe?
An interesting prospect. I'm very flexible.
Obviously, that's not likely to happen, and Spencer is even banned from traveling to most European countries because of his views.
You studied history, right? A lot of people, the reason they don't like you is because they have studied history too, and they see a lot of the things that you say as being very similar to Hitler and other leaders who were responsible for mass genocide.
I find this all very amusing, and this is the social justice warrior who will say, you're literally Hitler. And yes, I've heard this. We all live in the shadow of Hitler.
Do you think he was right? Do you agree with his point of view?
No, I think Hitler, in a way, now is history. He did many things that are absolutely terrible that I would never support.
Spencer says with the election of Donald Trump, his movement is growing and he's feeling emboldened, speaking tonight at Texas A&M University.
Donald Trump as a potentiality was undoubtedly energizing. And what I mean by that is that the Donald Trump campaign was the first time in my lifetime that an identity politics for white people was on the scene.
The speech here at Texas A&M has drawn a furious response. The president of the university, Michael Young, says he couldn't go against the First Amendment and cancel it, so he organized a massive counter-event, a rally to give students a place to celebrate unity.
Well, I think these people represent something that is so antithetical to what I believe. I think their ideas are just simply reprehensible and abhorrent.
So why not just ignore him?
Well, I think the attention was there before, but our goal is to say that that's not who we are.
None of this has deterred Spencer. In fact, it seems to energize him.
When you see protests, you get excited like this. I mean,
I'm not delighting in the pain. I don't know. I do drink liberal tears, but yeah, I use liberal tears for cologne. Look, people love conflict. Oh yes, of course.
Are you trying to start a conflict, or are you trying to accomplish something?
Look, you know that you're making headway when you create intensity.
Now, Don, there were protests here on campus today during the speech. There were also protests inside the room where Richard Spencer was speaking, and there were times where he appeared to come a little unhinged because of those protesters making fun of some people's weight, making fun of mental disability. He definitely strayed from his message at times. It was a little bit tense and chaotic in that room. At one point, protesters and people who were clearly there in support of Richard Spencer lined up face to face, and it looked like a fight might break out. One didn't, but police had to come in and separate the groups and make everyone sit back down. All in all, though, there weren't more than a dozen people inside that room who were there to listen to Richard Spencer because they supported him, Don.